Today we're going to practice using laws of logs to solve logarithms. So we're using all the laws that we've learned to get the answer for x. Okay, so if you need to keep those notes out about all the different laws, that would be a good thing to keep out so you don't forget. So we're just going to practice some problems. Look at number 1. And at the top of these notes it says, a thing to know is if log base b of m equals log base b of n, then m and n are equal, which is kind of common sense. But basically that's saying like you want to get the same logs on both sides. I say the same logs, like you want the log of the same base on both sides, and then whatever the log is of, you can set those equal to each other. And that probably sounds really confusing, so let me just kind of show you some examples and it makes more sense. So number 1, what you want to do is condense both sides. Like I was saying before, you want the logs to be the same on both sides. So we need to condense that right side. So hopefully you will have just a log base of 2 of something on the right side, just like the left side. Okay, so we're going to condense it. Now on the first term on the right side, we have a 2 in front. Remember, if you have a number in front, that means that's going to be your power. So this will actually change to 3 squared, right? If you have a number in front, that becomes your power. Okay, now the other law of logs that applies here is whenever you're adding, you're actually multiplying. And like I said at the beginning of this video, if you don't remember these laws of logarithms, you need to get those notes back out from, I think it was yesterday that we went over these. Okay, so if we're adding, it's like we're multiplying the 2. So we're going to have log base of 2 of 3 squared times 5. Okay, so we can figure out what 3 squared times 5 is. We can punch that in our calculator. Okay, so 3 squared times 5, let's see, that'd be 9. 9 times 5 is 45. So we have log base of 2 of x equals log base of 2 of 45. Alright, so that rule at the top of your notes, what it's saying is if, like, see how we have log bases of 2 on both sides? If that's the same, then whatever's here and whatever's here are equal to each other. Has to be. So x equals 45. Okay, so you're going to condense both sides, and then if you have the same log on both sides, you can set them equal to each other. Okay, so let's look at number 2. We need to condense them. So look at the left side. See how the left side has a number in front? It has that 3. That 3 in front acts as that power. So this will change to x cubed. Okay. So we have log base of 2 of x cubed equals log base of 2 of 8. Since we have the same log on both sides, we can set x cubed equal to 8. Okay, and then we can solve for x. So the opposite of cubing something is to cube root it. And they'll cancel each other out. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So ask yourself, okay, what's the cube root of 8? And it would be 2. Okay, if you're not sure what the cube root of 8 is, you can put it in your calculator. We don't have the cube root button on the calculator, but if you change it to a rational exponent, so 8 to the 1/3 power, that's the same thing as cube rooting it. Okay, so you can put it in your calculator and it'll tell you the answers to. Okay, let's look at number 3. Number 3, we need to condense both sides. The right side's condensed as much as it can be. That's as simplified as it gets. The left side, what I would look for first is, do I have any numbers in front of the logs? That would change to a power. Okay, in all 3 of these terms, we don't have that. Alright, so next thing I'm going to look at is if I'm adding 2 logs. If I'm adding 2 logs, that means I'm going to be multiplying them. So these first 2 that are adding, I'm actually going to be multiplying x times x. Okay, so what is x times x? It's x squared. Okay, and then I'm going to subtract the log of 3, log base 7 of 3. So whenever I'm subtracting, I'm going to divide. So divided by 3 equals a log base of 7 of 12. So adding means that I'm going to multiply them. Subtracting means I'm going to divide. And that's just your laws of logarithms. Okay. So now that they're condensed, they're simplified as much as you can simplify them, I can set them equal to each other. So we have x squared divided by 3 equals 12. Okay, and I'm going to solve for x. Okay, so to solve for x, I need to get x by itself. So the opposite of the opposite of dividing by 3 would be multiplying by 3. Now I'm going to do that to both sides. So x squared equals 36. And the opposite of squaring something would be to square root it. So square root both sides, and x equals 6. Okay, that's going to be my answer. Now, a lot of people might think, okay, well, why isn't it plus or minus 6 like it was before whenever we solve for exponents? There is a reason. It's not just because I forgot. Let's think about it this way. Let's say I have log base of 2. Well, heck, let's use this. Log base of 7. You see how we have log base of 7 of x equals something, right? And let's say we got -6 for our x. Let's see what happens when we plug in -6 for x. Okay? If I want to solve this and find out what it equals, okay, I would change it to exponential. This is what we did a couple days ago, where you start with the base and you move counterclockwise, right? So this would be 7 to the x power equals -6. Okay. So is there any exponent that would give me a negative number? Heck, I'll make it easy. It doesn't have to be -6. What if I got a number that actually works? What if I put 49 in there? Right, -49. Now 7 squared gives me 49, but is there any way I could get -49 with a positive base? Okay, there's no way you can do that. Negative exponents will just flip it to a fraction. 0 will give you 1, and any positive number will give you a positive answer. So the only way you could get a negative answer is if you have a negative base. Like if I had -2 cubed, that would give me -8. Okay, that's possible. But there's no way to get a negative answer from a positive base. So, I went through all that to tell you, whenever we solve logs, you're going to get a positive answer. I don't know that I've ever seen a log with a negative base. So this instance where -2 cubed is actually -8, it's possible, but you don't usually see logs with a negative base. So it's not going to happen. So whenever we take the square root of something, cube root of something, whatever, we're going to stay with the positive number. Don't worry about plus or minus. Don't worry about the negative side of it. We're going to stick with the positive numbers. Okay, so what I want you to do now is pause the video for about, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, however y'all feel best. And y'all are going to do the next 2 problems on your notes. You're going to try them out on your own, and then we'll check together. So about 5 to 10 minutes. I definitely wouldn't go past 10. It's going to take too long to get through these notes, and you still have a worksheet. So 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll check.